Good afternoon, everyone. This is RCB News, and I am your host, Ryan Bowling. I want to get right down to the business at hand. I want to read an article from the Epoch Times with some positive news about the evacuation attempts in Afghanistan. This is not talking about the government itself, but this is really literally talking about a former U.S. Marine soldier. God bless his heart. And it says, Elliot Ackerman has served 5 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan as a U.S. Marine Corps officer and CIA officer. Wow. Over the past 10 days, he and his cohorts have unofficially evacuated around 200 people from Kabul airport. We gave these people our word that if they worked with us, we would stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Any decent human being would have a hard time turning their back on these pleas for help. Ackerman describes his and his operatives' timely evacuation of 29 Afghans Thursday. They were able to get the group into the airport just 20 minutes before the ISIS suicide bomb went off. That's awesome. With the August 31 deadline for the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan looming, Ackerman gives his battle-hardened perspective on the best course to take, both diplomatically and on the ground going forward. And I just wanted to read that brief article from the Epoch Times, giving us a little bit of good news about some outstanding men and women who are attempting to save the lives of people whose lives have been taken due to this nonsense that is taking place right now. There's a lot of blame for this situation. I mean, some say that Bush was the one that got us over there, and we shouldn't be over there. I agree with that. I agree we shouldn't have been able to begin with. I totally agree. But then some are saying that Obama didn't do anything about it. The 8 years that he was in office, he didn't do anything, but they talked the talk, as politicians do, but he never did anything about it. Never got the soldiers out of there. The only individual that seems to have done something or tried to do something was former President Trump. Now, yes, I do like Trump, and I'm not trying to, just praise him simply because I like him. Look, a lot of his policies were beneficial for our country. It seemed to me that Trump truly cared about America and American people. And he brokered a deal with the Taliban that would have his troops, the American troops, out of Afghanistan by, I believe, May the 21st. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. May the 21st was supposed to be the time of 2021 was supposed to be the time that they were to be evacuated. But this was based or contingent upon Afghanistan not becoming a hotbed for terrorism. That was the deal. Of course, Biden and his hate for Trump and trying to undo everything that Trump had done went in there and just said, you know what, I'm going to scrap Trump's plan and I'm just going to get our men out of there. And look at what we have. According to the reports, 13 Marines have been taken. Some say 12, some say 13. But the point is that some of our boys' lives were taken due to this suicide bombing based on someone's emotional anger at a former president, at least the way I see it. And when we do things like this is what happens. Lives are taken based off of whimsical, emotional ideologies and belief systems. I'm just going to do this because I just don't like it. And it's hurtful to me. It's really hurtful to me personally because, or I won't even say hurtful. Let me take that back. It makes me angry. And one of the reasons it makes me angry, I was literally sharing this with my boss at my job. I would say one of the things that make me angry is the fact that the masses of people in our country are not doing anything or saying anything about it. They're going about their daily lives like nothing is happening, nothing's going on, no big deal. It's almost like they're under mind control, which I personally think they are. I know that sounds conspiratorial. It's conspiratorial. But I believe they're under some kind of mind control. And that may be another future video when I talk about that in length. Now you may ask, what do you mean by mind control? What I mean by that is simply that they're constantly being given what I believe to be false information on the mainstream news. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and all the major news outlets, whether it's TV or print news, are not giving all the facts. They're not covering everything that needs to be covering. See, it's not about always what you say, it's what you don't say. And a lot of stuff they don't say, and it keeps the people blind. And my impression in terms of the masses of people is, as long as they have their drinks, they have their drugs, they have their liquor, they have their women, they have their men, they have their entertainment, they cool. They don't care about what's going on in the White House. They don't care about what decisions they make. They don't care about the policies that these politicians make. They don't care. Give me my feel good and I'm good. I'm cool. And that's a dangerous place to be when you can't think outside the box. When you can only be driven by what you feel and what you see, you're not going to be able to think and make good decisions in the future. Not in the future, but right now. And it's time for the American people to wake up and see what's going on, because in America, we operate by the constitutional republic, which means that we have the power as the people, the power to vote the right people in office. Now, right now, where it stands, we only have two political parties, Republicans and Democrats. And whichever political party you vote for will determine the course of this country for the next 4 to 8 years. Now, I know there's a whole lot of controversy about both Democrats and Republicans have been brought out by the international banking families and the major corporations and the special interest groups that pay for their campaigns. And that's true, but that's another story for another video. And at this point, I digress. The point is that we are given the option between two political parties. And in order for us to vote with knowledge, we have to know about their policies. What are their policies? What kind of structure would they put in place that will help determine the course of our country for the next 4 to 8 years? And if we don't look at that, we just vote for these people simply based off of what we feel and how we, and our whims, then we're going to be making some very drastic decisions, some very drastic choices. So I just wanted to give that spin, and I just want to give that good news about the former Marine. And, you know, there are some good people out there. And right now it does look dark, but I'm here to let you know, and I'm not preaching, but I just want you to know that as a Christian, I believe that God is in control, and he controls the destiny of this country and the destiny of this world. I was having a talk with someone Friday, with an employee down at Tower City Friday, and I was talking with him, and he came up to me and began to just talk to me about what's going on and his belief in the Bible and different things like that. And I says, well, that's true. That's true, but we still have a responsibility. And I'm a Christian, born again Christian, believe in the Bible 100%. But I said, we as the American people still have a responsibility. America does not have to topple. It doesn't have to be like everybody else. America can be the way it was once before, a country where people looked up to. Not a perfect country, but a country that people looked up to, a country where they saw freedom and privilege and benefits and opportunities, endless opportunities, where they could be anything they wanted to be, where they wouldn't be hampered down by a tyrannical government. And that's what America was at one point. But now we're losing that now, in my opinion, because of the people we have in the office, whether it's on the local level, state level, or federal level. We keep voting these idiots in office, these boneheads, these goons, these clowns in office. And then when stuff go haywire, we wonder why. Okay, well, part of the reason why is because of the people we vote for. Stop voting for these fools. Get to know their policies, and then make an informed decision. Don't just vote somebody based off of what you feel or what the political party is. Maybe you're a conservative, maybe you're a Democrat. I'm personally a conservative, but I don't allow my conservatism to dictate who I'm going to vote for. If this conservative or Republican or whatever says he's a Republican, but his policies don't line up with conservative values, I ain't going to vote for him. I just won't vote. Now, I'm never more than likely ever going to vote for a Democrat because they support things that I disagree with, period, regardless of whether they're a moderate Democrat or full-blown far leftists or whatever. They support policies that I just don't agree with at all. So I'm not going to vote for them. But if a Republican, i.e. / conservative, or someone posing as a Republican, say they're going to do this, they're going to do things that are contradictory to what I personally believe in, what I value in my own personal life, and what conservative values are really all about, I will not vote for them. So it's not always about your political party. It's about, what do you believe is going to be the best thing for this country going into the next 4 years and the next 8 years, or whatever the case may be. That's what it's all about. So I just wanted to say that my summary, my solution would be to get to know the politicians that you vote for, or before you vote for them, get to know their policy. Don't just vote for them based off, as I said earlier, based off of their mere political affiliation, or because you like them. Don't vote based off of just because you like them. Even with Trump, I liked Trump. He wasn't perfect, but I liked him because he was bold. The impression I got from him, he wasn't a controlled person. They couldn't control him. The media couldn't control him. The puppeteers and behind the scenes couldn't control him. One source stated that he mostly paid for his own campaign during his first run, so he couldn't be controlled by special interest groups. At least that's what it seems to me. So he would say whatever he wanted to say. And no one could condemn him for that. And so everybody, all the other swamp rats, was upset with him about that. But that's cool, because I like that about him. He was bold. He was strong. He was a true leader. The way I saw him was a leader. I don't see that in Biden. I don't see that in Kamala Harris. I agree with what Anthony Brown Logan said about them. They're not leaders. They're puppets. You can tell a leader from anybody else. You can tell. You want to know one of the qualifications of a leader? One of the qualifications of a leader, in my view, is standing on your principles no matter what. Standing on what you personally believe in no matter what. You're not easily swayed with every wind or every teaching or every concept or every philosophy that come your way. You're not easily persuaded to leave your principles behind and follow their principles. And that's what we live in now. We're living in a world where people don't have any personal moral values. They don't have any emotional stability. They don't have any values that they can stand on and say, hey, I'm not going to be easily moved. Trump was someone, in my view, who could not be easily moved. He was a true leader. We got a lot of people on the local level, state level, and federal level that are in leadership positions but are not leaders. They're paid and brought and controlled by the special interest groups and the international banking families and the corporations that basically control them. All these individuals control them, and not necessarily in order, okay? But they control them. Bottom line is, they control them by paying for their campaigns. If I'm giving you a whole bunch of money, I'm not giving you that money because I like you. I'm giving you that money because I want certain benefits and privileges that if you get in office, you gonna give me, or I'm not gonna pay for your next campaign. And that's how I roll. They're not concerned about the American people. They're concerned about the special interest groups. And many of these special interest groups do not represent the millions of Americans in this country. They represent their small group. And we got to stop being controlled by these special interest groups. And we got to stop being controlled by these corporations that are trying to dictate to us how we live our life. If enough people wake up and smell the coffee and smell the tea and smell the crumpets or whatever, if enough people wake up, we can stop it. The only reason, in my closing, the only reason, and it looks dark, but the only reason why this radical movement, leftist movement, have not been able to completely topple America, the only reason for that is because people like Anthony Brown Logan's, Larry Elder, and all these other conservative voices on alternative news sources and other alternative sources and other conservatives are crying out and pushing against it. This is the reason why they have not been able to take over. It's bad, and it's getting there, but the only reason why they have not completely destroyed this country is because of the conservative voices that are on the rise. And many people believe, as I do, that Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, helped bring that up. He helped bring out these conservatives. He gave them a fighting chance, because before then, all the other politicians and Republicans and so-called conservatives or rhinos, whichever one you want to call them, were controlled by the lobbyist groups. the special interest groups and the banking families and the corporations that paid their campaigns. They were controlled by them. They'll give you a little crumb here or there or a bone here or there, but for the most part, they was controlled. Here comes this man, a business entrepreneur who's not controlled, who's bold, who says what's on his mind, and who truly cared about America and the American people. That motivated and stirred up and encouraged all these conservatives to start speaking their mind. And that's why this country has not completely toppled over. We still have a lot of our freedoms because of the conservative voices that are pushing back. If we don't say anything and we just say, forget it, we'll never win, it'll never work out. It'll never work out, like what's on the cartoon Smurfs. I forget the name of that Smurf, but he was always so negative. It'll never happen. It'll never work out. The only reason why these radical leftists have not toppled our country is because of the millions of conservative voices exposing what they're doing. There are people listening, people. Be encouraged. There are some people that are listening, and that's why it hasn't toppled down. But I just wanted to say that that's my solution to that. Keep fighting the good fight of conservative values. God bless you all. If you like this video, press the like button, leave your comments, share, and subscribe. God bless you, and see you again on RCB News.